Hey guys, it's Jennifer. Welcome to my channel. Today we are setting up my 2020 reading journal and comparing this journal to my old 2019 journal. So let's get started. First we're going to start with the comparison of the two journals. I did want to show you guys how the journal held up. This Lemome Journal held up throughout the year. It held up pretty well. I am pretty aggressive with my journals. I take them in and out of bags. They get jostled around, that sort of thing. So really the only damage that has happened over the year is the binding up at the top is fraying, and then, don't know if you can see this, but where I've kept the pins in the pin loop, it's caused the binding of the journal to shift, if that makes sense. I don't know if y'all can really see what I mean. So overall, it's held up real well. The cover isn't really scratched up or dinged up, and neither is the back. So this journal held up pretty well. So now I'm going to compare this Lemome journal that I got off of Amazon and this Exceed journal that I got from Walmart. So when I first bought this journal came with these little sticker paper dividers, which I showed in my previous compared video of last year's reading, or the year before reading journal, before this one. But I ended up using one and then ripping it out because when I wrote on it with pen, the pen smeared and never really dried on there. So in the description of the on Amazon for this journal, it's supposed to have 90 sheets of paper, and so 180 pages front and back. But when you come here at the back, as you can see, there is actually 188. So there are 4 more pages than they thought. And this journal lays flat when you work on it, so that's nice. It came with a built-in pocket here. It has 120 GSM paper, so GSM refers to the thickness of the paper. As you can see on my pen test page, there's absolutely no bleed through anything, including a Sharpie, but just about everything ghosts on the back, and you can only see that the Sharpie ghosts, a fine tip Sharpie ghosts, and one of my random gel pens that I have no idea what it is ghost. Quite clearly. All the other ones have as well, but it's not to the extent as the other ones. So the paper quality is real nice, and it's nice and smooth, and the paper color is like a cream color. As you can see, there are no pages. The pages aren't marked with how many pages they are, and I had to go through the entire journal to mark all the pages. And there is also no index. I had to create my own table of contents to keep track of where I put things. It came with a single ribbon, and it has a nice elastic band and a pen holder, which is real nice. And for this journal, when I bought it off of Amazon, it was $14.99. If you are interested in this journal, I will link the Amazon link down below. So now, let's go on to what this journal has. This journal did not come with any sticker dividers. It has more pages. It has 120 sheets, so 240 pages total. And they're numbered. I like that. I would really hate to have to go through this entire journal and write in 240 numbers. And it also has a lovely index. There are 5 pages of index. That does not count away from your 240 pages. Plus, there is another blank sheet behind this one. This one also lays nicely flat. Of course, since I haven't used it, it's not really broken and it won't lay 100% flat. It came with a pocket, envelope pocket, and it has 100 GSM. So the paper is a little bit thinner than the Lemome, but not by much. And as you can see in my pen test, the only thing that bled through is my Sharpie, which is a given. And I was actually surprised on how well my Crayola Super Tip markers held up. When I did this, I went over this like 3 times, and then I added more up at the top and crossed like what I added down onto what I already did, all while still wet. And there was no beading of the paper and no bleed through. So I'm really happy with the way the markers have held up on this paper. And to me, it's interesting, some of the very popular journal brands for bullet journaling, such as Moleskine and Lettrum. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that. I'm not sure about Lettrum, but Moleskine, I believe, only has 70 GSM. So the paper is really thin, and I'm not really sure why that's such a popular brand to use when their journals are so expensive. I've been tempted to buy one, but they're not cheap and their paper quality isn't as nice. This journal came with 2 ribbons, which is extremely helpful. I'll have one ribbon on whatever page I'm on while I'm reading to take notes, and this one on my whatever I'm tracking at the moment. So this will be extremely helpful in finding all my stuff instead of constantly having to go to my table of contents or index. And this one also has a elastic band as well. There is no pen holder for this journal, not on the side or right here, although I am thinking about going on Amazon and purchasing some of those sticky pen holders that I can attach to the back of the page. So, because I really did like my pen holder right here. And the price of this journal was only $8.69. So, a $14.99 Lemome journal compared to an Exceed $8.69 journal. This is a wonderful journal. It has held up really well over the year. The paper quality is really nice, but I do prefer the Exceed journal. And it's because the amount of pages is the biggest deal for me, and the GSM quality is pretty good for the amount of pages you get. It's only in October when I'm filming this, but as you can see, I'm getting pretty low on pages. I think I have less than 50 pages or something, give or take. Not only to continue reading and taking notes and doing my covers and reading logs, but also doing my stat graphs at the end of the year. I don't think I'm going to have enough paper in this journal to do all that, which makes me kind of nervous because I like to use one journal a year and have everything in one spot. So I'm much happier with the amount of money I got and the paper quality and the amount of pages I get. I think it's a bonus that it comes with 2 ribbons, the pages are numbered, and it has a built-in index that don't count away from your 240 pages. So, great journal, but I like this one more for the price point. So, let's get into what I've done to this journal, on the outside, at least. When I'm filming this, I've already done the inside, but I'm going to show you the inside later in the video, and make the inside later in the video. So I have this wonderful raven sticker. I believe it's a raven. I don't think it's a crow. I could be wrong, though. that I got from a Etsy shop that I will link down in the description below if you're interested in this. The shop I bought this sticker from also has like stickers with bees and beetles and other cool creatures with flowers around them if you're into that. And I also attached some book corners, metal book corners, to protect the book as the year goes on. I got this idea from Time for Books, and I will link her channel down in the description below if you want to check out her journaling videos. And just like last year's journal, I went ahead and made a inside pocket. All I did was glue down some cardstock, flipped it over, taped the sides, glued it in to make a pocket here, and then this came from like a Halloween postcard I had that I glued on to match the birdie on the front cover. And this is for the end of January. We'll talk more about that later. And I went ahead and decorated the first page. This first page just had 3 black lines and exceed really large here. I didn't like the way it looked, so all I did was glue down some black cardstock. I made this in a Word document and then glued this on top. Now the rest of the video will be setting this journal up. This year in my reading journal, I wanted to be more crafty in here. Instead of just always drawing, I'd like to draw and maybe add some different textures in here, or just like glue things in and not draw at all. So what I've done in this journal is definitely a lot more scrapbookish, but I think it turned out really well, and I'm going to try to incorporate this into each month's cover photo as well. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Alright, so the first thing I'm putting in my journal are my bookshelves that I write down and color in after I finish reading a book. And instead of drawing it in this time, I purchased these printable and downloadable formats off of Etsy. If y'all are interested in these, I will link where you can purchase these down below. It is an instant download. And the size was a little bit bigger than what I printed out. If you open the PDF in a Word document, you can adjust the size that you need to fit your journal. So after I cut these out, I will be back to show you how I'm gluing them in. I don't know if I want to put them both right here, or since page 1 starts here, go from here and here. So we'll be back once I cut these out. Alright, so I've already cut them out. I'm going to color these plants in real quick before I glue them in, but I will fast forward this entire process. And I also decided to do it on this blank page and starting on 1 simply so I have more room to write stuff in my journal. So let's get started. So there we go. So whenever I finish a book, I'll write the title of the book and then color it in, and I'll probably stick with markers to keep the color saturated. So next is my series to complete. I didn't record me writing this in pencil because I didn't think y'all would find this interesting, but these, when I put series to complete, these are books that I may or may not have already read, but these are books I need to purchase to complete the series. So that's what series to complete means. setting up my book purchases page and then doing my reading goal page. So this time in this book journal, I want to be a little bit more creative. I want to use different materials and stuff. So a lot of this is going to, including my monthly draw with me's, are going to be more scrapbook-like, meaning I'm going to add different materials instead of just drawing. So I might add something I draw plus different papers and textures and stuff like that. This book purchase one is going to be fairly simple. I don't have a lot of stickers or anything that relate to this yet, but I probably will add to it as the year goes. Oh, this is not glue. That's not glue. That's amazing. Well, at least it smells nice, right? This is my fucking glue. So that's all I'm gonna do to this page for now. I will hopefully find like a dollar bill sticker or some other stuff to put up here, but for now, this is it. We're gonna be moving on to my reading goal. So for my 2020 reading goal is 50 books, and I decided to present my reading goal in a different way this time. Instead of drawing out a book with a number on it and like following it down the line like I did last time, I have this 2 through 50. So when I finish 2 books, I'm going to take one of my color markers and just like go across the line and pretty much color the whole book with each set of 2 books I read. So, but this one is definitely going to be a little bit more collage. The last 2 things I'm doing for my journal setup before I move on to my January setup is a book bingo and my TBR balance. So my book bingo is like mini goals that I've set, but also just kind of something fun to do. I put prompts here that I thought would suit me. I made this in a Word document. I can link this in a PDF file down below if anybody is interested in this, along with my TBR balance sheet. But I am going to do more gluing in this. It's a different time of day now, so if the lighting's a little weird, I apologize, but I finally decided what I wanted to do for my January cover. So I'm going to do something galaxy themed, but I'm going to be painting, not just drawing. So what I've done, I've roughly cut out a piece of white cardstock that would fit about here. I've drawn around a border because I'm going to try to paint in the center. I'm going to end up ripping off the edges to give some texture. So first things first is I'm going to paint a galaxy theme here. So let's get started with that. Alright, so it probably looks a little bit different than the last little clip. I added more black and then it was too dark, and then I had to add more blue, and it became this. But now we are going to mix some white acrylic paint with some water that I have in here. You probably can't see it, just so it becomes liquidy enough so I can flick the white paint on here. Alright, so that's all I'm going to do with setting up my reading journal for now, because everything after this is going to be the books that I read. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me do a new sort of format and creative spin with my reading journal than previously before. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys again later. Bye!